My name is David Medina, and this is One, a podcast asking one question and playing one song. Welcome to episode 2, everybody, and thanks for tuning in. Hope everyone is making the best of now and today. So the question for today's episode is, how do you find your voice? For a very long time, I was known as the quiet and shy kid, the kid who didn't talk, the kid who didn't express himself. And honestly, at the time, I wasn't really sure why I was given that label. But I fed into what people were saying about me, and I kept believing it and feeding into it. I mean, if everyone else is saying it, it must be true. So as kids, we trust what adults are telling us, and we take on their ideas or thoughts of who we are. After all, subconsciously, we're trying to forge like some sort of identity at a certain point. And if we hear something enough, we start to believe it about ourselves. So I fed into this image of who I was for many, many years. And as I grew up and went through these different stages of my life, I kept perpetuating this idea of who I was. Now, internally, I was incredibly uncomfortable, incredibly frustrated. I was incredibly hard on myself and incredibly judgmental of how I was interacting in the world. I couldn't figure out why I was this quiet person, knowing I didn't want to be that way in the world. So there was this constant internal struggle. I had moments of experiencing myself being free in the world with my expression, but they were short-lived and inconsistent. It was incredibly frustrating for me, for the people around me and those closest to me. So I've done a lot of work on myself over the last 20 or so years, and I kept unpeeling layer after layer about the idea of finding my voice. And yet I was still holding on to this idea of being quiet and unexpressed. And there was a fear. There was a fear of looking stupid. There was a fear of being vulnerable. There was a fear of being judged. It was only until I was given this gift of a moment. So like we all have moments, right, in our lives that kind of reveal something about ourselves, or they have a lesson for us if we're present to it. So one day I was in the kitchen of my mother's apartment and I was cooking. I had some great salsa music on and I was singing and dancing. I was in complete, full expression. And my mom was sitting on the couch watching me. I wanted her to join me in this like moment of complete joy that I was having. She told me I was making too much noise and why I was doing that. And the more I did it, the more annoyed she became, to the point of like leaving the room. In that moment, I had flashbacks to all of the similar moments in my past where my expression was being shut down. So in an instant, I recognized that all of what was said about me wasn't true. I'm not this quiet, shy kid. I was told I was, and I believed it. And this moment that I had with my mom was a gift because it showed me who I really was. I'm this human being full of expression and with a voice that's meant to be heard. Now, was it uncomfortable to keep going, even though I was in the moment of recognizing this with my mom? Even though my mom was annoyed? Yeah, it was. It was incredibly uncomfortable. And what it taught me was the willingness to keep going and to continue to express myself despite what others may think or feel about it. And this is the breakthrough. The more we express ourselves, the easier it becomes, and the more at home we feel with ourselves. And the more at home we feel with ourselves, the more expression comes out, and the people who are meant to hear it, the people who are meant to vibe with it will. Because I learned that it's a disservice to not be myself fully in this world. We all have a voice to be expressed in the world. And it is an honor to have our voice be heard, our wisdom to be heard. I'm at a place now where I'm truly free from comparing myself to others. Like I should be expressing myself this way, I should be smarter, I should be louder. These are all the comparisons that I had going on in my head when I was present with other people. Now, there are no shoulds, right? There are no shoulds in this world. It's just what is. And what is for me is I'm a calm, simple, and loving voice in this world, and that's all I need to be. All I need to be is myself. And from that self comes my wisdom and my voice. So how do you find your voice? What do you struggle with in that? I would love to hear about that. So my next guest is no stranger to finding her voice. I'm really excited for my guest. Katy and I met at the Institute for Integrative Nutrition during our health coaching program. We were accountability buddies, and we've been buddies ever since. She's someone who has had a lot of experience in the music industry from every aspect, including being a singer-songwriter. She launched her own business as a transformation coach, where she supports musicians and artists in finding their authentic voice. She's from England, and she now resides in Nashville. I think Katy sees the joy in a lot of things, and it's evident on how she lives her life. She's an amazing person, someone I'm honored to call my friend, and I am honored to have and to welcome Katy Samwell.
I'm Katy Samwell, and this is One. So, how do I find my voice? Well, for me, my voice is my will. So, if I'm trying to find my voice, I'm trying to find my will. I'm trying to speak my truth. I'm trying to find the truth that's in my heart and live by that. So it's about going inside and really thinking about what's important to me. What do I need to express? And what is it that my heart really desires? What brings me joy? What brings me passion? And if I can express what is truly in my heart, then I find my voice. So I like to get in nature. Nature always helps me ground, and so I can get in touch with what I'm actually really desiring. I love just watching what the birds are doing, how the trees are moving, just really connecting with everything around me. And then from that state of being in the present moment, there's no judgment. There's no worrying about past events or freaking out about what's going to happen in the future. So from that place, in that present moment, all is well. And when all is well, that's when I can really connect to what I want. And often I think about, what did I love doing as a child? Singing, coloring, playing in nature. All of those things that as a child we filled us with wonder, that we just wanted to experiment with, just play with, have fun with. That's our heart expressing itself. And that's completely natural to us as a child. We don't have to think about it, it just comes. But as an adult, we have filters from parents, from teachers, from media, from everything, from past lives, that color and put filters over what we truly feel inside our heart and what we truly want to bring forth. And because of those filters, things start to get muddled. So you are not clear about who you are or who you want to be or why you're here. So then you start doing things that you feel you should be doing or that other people say you should be doing. So then you feel like your voice is lost. You can't express yourself. Your voice is gone. So in order to bring that back, that's when you have to get back into that center. So that's why I take myself into nature, to get back into that center, to really, really try and feel what is dear to me, what holds dear to me, what I love. Because when we're expressing love and when we're feeling love, when we're giving and receiving love, then we're expressing our true selves. So then we find our voice. And that's when we come home to ourselves.
That is so true. I want to point to one thing that Katy said was about filters, and it's so true. We carry all these filters from other people, sort of similar to what I said earlier, and we start living through these filters and the ideas of other people. And we kind of lose a sense of who we truly are. Then we spend the rest of our lives trying to find that person. And it doesn't have to be that way. So thank you, Katy. Without further ado, Katy is going to sing a beautiful song called Home. Here's Katy.
Spend too much time believing what was right or what was wrong. It's not what it seems. Trying hard to listen to those who say they knew you best. Like all the rest, they're not your dreams. And you know, no one loves you like I love you. And no one feels the way I do about you. When you're hurt and the pain won't go, and you're thinking you feel so low, you're not alone. I'm gonna be there tonight. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm coming home. Every day gets harder to concentrate. But if you hesitate, you'll lose your way. I know you hurt. I know you think you can't go on. Feel all hope is gone. It'll never be the same. But you know, no one loves you like I love you. And no one feels the way I do. Ooh. When you're hurt and the pain won't go, and you're thinking you feel so low, you're not alone. I'm gonna be there tonight. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm coming home. Oh, when you're hurt and the pain won't go, and you're thinking you feel so low, you're not alone. Oh, I'm gonna be there tonight. Everything's gonna be alright. I'm coming home. I'm coming home.
Wow. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Beautiful song. Thank you so much, Katy, for being my guest. I love you and appreciate you. Thank you all for tuning in to another episode of One. Until next time, peace and blessings.
Listen on the tapes and loving yourself.